Credit to my teacher, Julian Dyson Skinner. Much of this blog post is taken from week 2 of the 8-week course that I deliver that he wrote. Dr. Hans Seeley popularised the term stress in the 1950s, and he defined it as the non-specific response of the organism to any pressure or demand. Well, whatever it is, it causes over 80% of illness, as we know. So stress is what you do when you respond to stressors. Stressors can be work, relationships, living conditions, a number of external things. But they can also be internal, such as our thoughts and our feelings. It's not the potential stressor, but how you perceive and handle it that determines the level of stress that's created. Some stressors are good and needed to get things done, but there comes an optimal point and then burnout sets in. It really does not have to be this way. The foundation of working with stress is about listening to the body and becoming aware of sensations in the body. Reconnecting back to the body and realising it's not just a taxi for our brains is going to be your superpower. Why? Well, there's a lot here, and I teach much of it on my courses. These Zen practices are very much about embodiment. A reminder here that this is a secular course that I deliver, nothing to do with religion. And many people with no experience of these teachings often report positive changes within a few weeks of adapting these practices. But it is a practice, and it's not a one-shot biohack. The evolution of the autonomic nervous system, the ultimate survival machine. The sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems are branches of our autonomic nervous system. The sympathetic system deals with any kind of arousal or mobilisation. The parasympathetic system controls our body when in a rest state, and this has 2 branches. Each part of the nervous system evolved at different times, and the 3 systems react differently to different levels of threat to the body. First one, state of calm, often called the social engagement mode or relaxation mode. We have the defensive strategy 1, mobilisation, associated with fighting or running away. Defensive strategy 2, immobilisation, associated with feigning death or freezing. The body unconsciously scans the environment for signs of safety or danger. This function is called neuroception. Neuroception operates below the level of consciousness and is therefore out of our control. It describes how neural circuits distinguish whether situations or people are safe, dangerous, or life-threatening. Parasympathetic, primitive vagus. In life-threatening or overwhelming threat situations, including memory of trauma in PTSD, this system enables a passive shutdown or immobilisation response in order to feign death. We see this, for example, when a mouse is caught in a cat's mouth, or when we're stuck in stage fright. When people are caught in this reaction, they can be unresponsive, withdrawn, cold, or limp, and they can feel like the mind has gone blank. Sympathetic, otherwise known as fight or flight. The classical sympathetic fight-flight stress reaction occurs in 3 stages. Stage 1, the sympathetic nervous system diverts energy, blood and glucose, away from non-essential systems to the muscles and organs needed for immediate survival. The heart rate jumps and we can often feel hot and tense. In consequence, the non-essential systems, digestive, reproductive, elimination and immune systems become impaired or shut down. Stage 2. The body releases adrenaline, noradrenaline and cortisol together with glucagon, human growth hormone and thyroid hormone. These hormones help to heighten sense perceptions, produce increased energy, help the body repair damaged cells, and reduce inflammation. Stage 3. The body continues to produce large amounts of stress hormone. Prolonged exposure to these, particularly cortisol, destroys healthy muscles, bones and cells and suppresses the immune system, impairs digestion and weakens the endocrine system. Great if you're about to be eaten by a tiger, but the stresses we're dealing with today aren't really like that anymore. These days, it's very common to encounter a series of minor alarms where the fight-flight response is partially triggered. And if we don't have a way to release these effects, they just accumulate. And for some people, this state of hyperarousal with fight-flight hormones rushing around the body can become a permanent state. They typically then feel ongoing muscular tension, elevated heart rate, sweaty palms, digestion issues, sleep problems, etc., etc. The effect of this built-up stress, poor sleep, digestion, chronic head and backaches, cardiac arrhythmias, so on, can in turn become further stressors, and the whole situation becomes a vicious cycle and circle. Thankfully, we've evolved a branch of our nervous system that can help us regulate when these things are getting out of control. The parasympathetic, the modern vagus nerve. This inhibits defensive, sympathetic, fight, flight, activation through social interaction. This happens through facial expression, smiling, tone of voice, and body language, including touch. The modern social engagement system helps us diffuse and regulate our fight-flight reactions. It is in large part through our face, heart, brain connection, mediated by the modern vagus nerve, that we learn to temper our responses to threats and challenges, Dr. Stephen Porget's polyvagal theory. The body is highly adaptive and always pendulating between para and sympathetic activation. It is built in such a way that it always moves towards regulation. Us humans are truly amazing. Sadly though, we're generally not taught this and shown how to do these things. And so we see rampant amounts of chronic illness and many nervous systems around the world stuck in fight or flight. See previous blog post, Why Does the World Need More of This? We need to move from reaction to response, and that starts with getting to know our bodies better. Mindfulness of the body and sensations, and mindfulness of the mind and its objects. Again, this is covered in the 8-week course and then enhanced by mindful movement practice such as Zen yoga. But working with the body alone is the only hack you need to inhibit the harmful effects of stress. No amount of reading or talking is going to do this. It's all down to you, your commitment to the process and working with your bodies. I will do another blog on this, the how to.